What is your read on what's up with him? Because he's not blowing a lot of saves. I think he's blown 4 saves so far, and he's available for them. But like, you get a guy in a position like that where his ERA is up over 5, that's trouble, and it's trending towards it being very troublesome once the lights are the brightest.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that, it's one thing that, you're dicey in the regular season. You may blow a game here and there in the regular season. You want predictability in the playoffs, that you've got a lead, you're going to close it out, you're going to get the win. Because, one blown save in the playoffs costs you a series, and you can't afford to do that. And that's why I prefer to get the closer, move Hoffman to the 7th inning, 8th inning. It's really where he's been most of his career, as opposed to the 9th. And that way, you've got some depth, you've got some options in case your other closer is used 3 days in a row and you need to bring in Hoffman. You can do it. I just want to take the burden off him. I just don't see him as necessarily that lockdown guy, and I think they need to find one.
So we'll get you out of here with a question about the American League East in general, because the Jays have just won 10 in a row. They're sitting atop the division. The Yankees are 2 games back. The Sox just wrapped up 10 wins in a row, which obviously that winning streak will continue post-break. Where do you project this going? Blue Jays, Yankees, Red Sox, the Rays are sputtering, but they've been pretty good this year. Like, how many teams do you think make the playoffs, and who do you think wins the division?
Yeah, I think you've got a chance to have 4 teams in the American League East make the playoffs.
Wow.
I do. I think Tampa Bay, Toronto, Boston, and the Yankees. I don't really believe in Seattle. I don't think anybody else in the Central is going to put them. And I think Tampa Bay is really good. Now, I think the Blue Jays can hold on and win this division. But I think a general manager may decide who wins the division and who's the wild card teams and how they line up accordingly, right? So the Yankees, they need to fortify their pitching with some of the injuries they've had. They could use some bullpen help as well. The Red Sox need more pitching too, and I think they're going to let the young kids play. Tampa Bay, they're already starting to fortify the bullpen. They got the Baker kid from the Orioles, and I think they're going to focus more on pitching as well. So I think the general managers in this division are going to decide the order in which they finish, because I think they're that closely matched.
Always great catching up with you, Steve. We'll do it again soon.
Terrific, guys. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Steve Phillips, our TSN Baseball Insider, joining us here on the Maple Toyota Hotline. Drive the built-in Canada fuel-efficient, fun-to-drive Toyota RAV4. Gas or hybrid models available. Visit mapletoyota.com. That's an interesting way to phrase it, that the GM will determine who wins and who doesn't. Like, when you're that close, like it's a 5.5 game spread between the Jays and the Rays, with the Yankees and Red Sox in between. Lots of baseball left to be played. 70 games. What do you do? Like, famously in 15, that's when the Jays were 50 and 51, and Anthopoulos put all his chips in the middle and said, we're going to get Price, we're going to go get Tulowitzki.
Was that the Josh Johnson?
No, that was in,
was that the year
12 or 13. That's when
earlier?
They got Burley and they got Reyes. And in 15 was when Donaldson had arrived.
I love the aggressive approach, as you know.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I get it. I mean, that team went to an ALCS. They ended up carrying it over, went to the ALCS in 16 as well. I think that team was better than this team. Like, top to bottom, They were a better team. But, yeah, I agree with them in terms of pitching. I think that's what they're going to attack. Try to find another arm for your rotation, load up on an arm or two in the bullpen, and hope that this offense that you've seen will only improve. With Vladdy getting better, Bichette could be better, Santander and Varsho return. That's your team.
I was going to ask you, who would be your game 1 starter today? Barrios?
Yeah, I think Barrios. I think I'd go Barrios, Gausman.
Bassett?
Yes. I mean, Scherzer is intriguing to me. Like, what is he?
If he's healthy, he might be your game 1 starter.
Like, if he's healthy and he's got stuff, like he is alive and his arm is alive and he looks, because like he is built for a moment like that.
He's like a big game pitcher as like it gets.
Yeah.
But like that's like old him.
Right, but
not old him.
Like modern baseball, like starters, they want you to go twice through the rotation. That's what they're asking for. Like, basically get me
famously here.
Yeah, exactly. Barrios out. Who was it? Kikuchi that went in.
It didn't go
so well. But that's the way it goes. I mean, you basically say, can you give us 3 innings, 4 innings, and then we're going to hand it over to the bullpen anyway. So it's not like you're looking for Scherzer to give you some masterpiece, 115 pitch, 8 inning, Kurt Schilling type outing. You're just saying, can you give me 75 pitches strong and get out? I think it's possible it's him.
Don't you feel like there will be pressure on the front office to actually have playoff success this year? Like, obviously that's built in, but they've been here a really long time, and they've won nothing? No games.
0 playoff games.
0 playoff games?
0 playoff games.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like...
I hear you. I mean, I think it would be valuable to their resume if they picked up a wild card win. Maybe you lose in game 3 instead of game 2. But they've been in the playoffs twice. Well, it's a little bit deceiving because Shapiro was here in 16.
But that was like Anthopoulos.
I know, exactly. So if you start the clock in 17 and move on, they've been in the playoffs twice, and they lost both in 2, right? The Twins in Seattle. I remember that Seattle game. They were they winning 8-1, I think, and they lost 10-8 or 9-8. Remember that game where they just threw it away? And I think Alek Manoah, was he pitching? He was pitching game 1 of that series. He had a rehab start. Didn't go so well. It's kind of interesting that he is like back on the mound and registering a box score at a minimum. Like Alek Manoah is back in the Blue Jays universe. The likelihood of him ever pitching for this team again, I would say, is incredibly thin. But it'll be that's the ultimate redemption story. Like, if he could ever battle his way back to the majors and perform, forget getting back to where you were expected to be the ace for the next decade. Just be a guy who makes it and pitches.
Yeah.
That'd be a really cool story.
This is not a perfect comparison, but do you remember Rick Ankiel?
Yeah, of course. Pitcher turned hitter.
Right. And like he kind of he flamed out, if I recall, as a pitcher. Mm-hmm. And then he came back as an outfielder and like hit for power.
He played like
and he was
the
good.
Cardinal.
And I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was a cool story.
So maybe he should become a short.
You think Manoah should start swinging the bat, become a power? What is he? I don't know what he hits. Left, right, switch hitter? Who knows? All right, Keegan Matheson in about an hour. Luke Wilson coming up as well. The Argos had a bye week this week. Sounds like Chad Kelly, though, right around the corner. We'll catch up with Luke, get his take on that, what else he's seen throughout the CFL. Rookies reporting for camps throughout the NFL. And ESPN just released their top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL, according to execs. They pulled, like, executives, scouts, GMs.
I want to guess right now before I see the list.
Okay, why don't we come back? You can guess.
Okay.
We'll go through the list. And I got to take on Marner's return and what the NHL should do, but what I don't think they have the stomach for.
Nice.
Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 4.